So question 12, work out this sum. So we just need to work, you can work that sum out in order. So we need to make sure we set this up correctly, though it's non-calculator obviously. So we need to say 16.4 take away 3.92, and you must make sure that your decimal points line up. Now you can make it look better, make it tidier if we make these the same length. 16.4, I can make that 16.40, which means I've added in no hundreds, which means I haven't changed the number, no hundredths, which means I haven't changed the number at all. And now all I have to do is to be able to subtract that. The thing to remember is that you can't do 0 take away 2. You have to borrow from the next column along, you have to borrow from the tenths here. So if I cross that out and change that to a 3, this is now 10. And I can now do 10 take away 2, which is 8. Now you carry on now, you've got 3 take away 9, so can you do it? Think about what you need to do next. When you've worked out the answer to that part of the sum, you then need to add 7.8 to it. So you have to do a second calculation to work out the answer that you get here, add 7.8, and remember, line your decimal points up, but the adding's easier. Part B, I have to divide this number by 7, so I'll be using bus stop method here. So we've got 2843.61, and it's going to be divided by 7. So you just have to now look, I'll just start you off and you can finish it off. We have to make sure our decimal point goes here. We know that's going to happen. And we can just work it out as normal. How many 7s fit into 2? 0. So you carry your 2. How many 7s fit into 28? That's 4. Exactly 4. So there's nothing to carry over. How many 7s fit into 4? Well, that's 0. So we'll have to carry the 4 over, and you can carry on and finish that question off now. Okay, question 13. Quite a lot of information again here. So in a game, 2 fair spinners are spun. We have spinner A and spinner B. If the numbers the arrows land on are different, the score is the higher number. If the numbers the arrows land on are the same, then the score is 0. Complete the table to show the possible scores. So, if the numbers that the arrows land on are different, the score is the higher number. So that's our first condition. So if we looked at a cell here, let's say we looked at this one here, we've got a 2 and a 1. So spinner B landed on 2, spinner A landed on 1. The score is the higher number. So the score there would be 2. If we look at the next cell along, we've got spinner B on a score of 3, spinner A on a score of 1. So the score is the higher number, which is 3. If we looked at this square here, spinner A is on 4, spinner B is on 2, so you use the higher number, so that's got a score of 4. The second condition, if the numbers the arrows land on are the same, the score is 0. So we've got one filled in here already. This one here had a score of 2 on spinner B, 2 on spinner A, so the score was 0. So if the score's the same, you put a 0 in the box, and that's how you complete that. Then write down the probability that the score is an odd number. Now what I've seen quite a bit is people just adding up how many odd numbers there were. So they've been through their table and written down how many odds there were. Now it's a probability. So you need to say how many odd numbers there are out of all of the possible outcomes, out of all of the things that could possibly happen. So think through how you do that. Part C for this, the same game is played using spinners C and D. The numbers on C are shown, so we've got those. They're filled in here for us already. We've already got the numbers for C. And some of the numbers are in the table. We have to work out the missing numbers on spinner D. So you've got to think about those rules again. The number that's recorded here in this space follows those rules that if it's a 0, then the numbers were the same. So that would help us, for example, here's a 0. So that must mean that if this was 4, this was also 4 because the numbers had to be the same to get a 0 in your table. That'll help you work something else out. You're also told that if the numbers are different, then the higher number is the one that is written down. So for example here we've got an 8. So the number on spinner C was a 7. So the number on spinner D must be a higher one, it must be the 8 because that's what was written down there. And using that information you should now be able to fill out the last 2 boxes here and here.